4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of people believe demons exist. There are unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, and we are here to talk about it. Your portal into UFOs, paranormal, cryptids, the supernatural, the mysterious, the unknown. I see you. This is Beyond the Radar, and this is your host, Humanoid Tom Conway.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news program. We are broadcasting live, everybody, on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and brought to you online from UPRN's Facebook and YouTube page, and of course, Beyond the Radar's Facebook and YouTube page. We are also on Roku TV. So hello to everybody out there in TV land watching us. Check out our archives there as well, or subscribe to Beyond the Radar's podcast on Spotify for past shows. We have a wonderful show for you today. Almost forgot. Please, if you have a question, comment, or anything and want to text up our text board, we would love to hear from you. If you can't comment, you're not near the computer, always free to text us. Our text board number is 484-283-5328. That's 484-283-5328. And yes, welcome. Thank you, everyone, for that. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, and being a part of our family, America. We love a growing number. We love having all of the numbers that we do, and we love talking about cool stuff. And let's kick off the summer of cool stuff. Everyone, let's kick it off. Let's do Summer of Weird Shit 24, LFG. Let's go. So one thing I wanted to get into before we talk about our show is we have a Udemy course. So anybody out there can become a paranormal UFO expert with Beyond the Radar's UFO course. You will learn things such as an introduction history of UFOs, how to properly report and investigate UFOs, talking about analysis, reports, and also learn about the scientific versus skeptical inquiry, a multidisciplinary approach, learn the key figures in ufology as well as the key organizations. Also, the whistleblower testimony, UAP disclosure hearings, and just a bunch of other things, a bunch of other data, podcasts, clips. This is all a visual, virtual course that you can take on Udemy. You just Google Beyond the Radar UFO Expert Course and sign up for it, and you can become an expert and also join me here. Join me on Beyond the Radar and talk about some cool stuff. Only if you complete the course, though. So everybody get on there. Numbers are growing every day, and people want to sign up and talk UFOs. Hey, Nicole, how are you doing? Good seeing you. And yeah, it's getting up there out in California. I saw the weather earlier, and yeah, you're in for it right now. Over here too, it's starting to get into the humid season on the East Coast. So, yes, today we're going to talk about a little topic called the Council of Nine. And this was something that wasn't as new to me. This was something new to me, and I wasn't as familiar with this as some of the other things. You understand, some of the other things that we've talked about on this show. So I had to do some research on that. And very interesting, very, very cool thing to talk about. And also we have a special segment. We're going to do a segment for this summer that's going to hopefully liven everybody up. We know and have talked about UFOs and extraterrestrials on this program before. I'm sure you've heard it, but how often have we delved in and dived deep into the actual species or the actual civilizations of these UFO and what we know about them so far? So this summer, I'm going to take one a week, and we're going to do a deep dive on these different species. And we're going to talk about what they are, characteristics, physical characteristics, psychological characteristics, how many times people have, interacted with these things, what we have known, um, and different things like that. So that's going to happen all summer. And today we're going to kick it off with the grays. We're going to start with the most common form, and we're going to talk about them, and we'll get into it, many other species as we go throughout this summer. And yeah, so it's going to be a very exciting segment for the summer. It's 91 with earthquakes and fire in California. That's not good. That's certainly dangerous for you. Um, have you thought about, and this is a commenter from Nicole Gaspard, very smart woman, very, very intuitive for anybody listening on the radio. She asked, have you thought that some earthquakes might be caused from UFO or UAP? There is a theory about that, Nicole. I'm not sure if you've heard about it or not, but there is an interesting theory out there that, if you were to believe that UFO and UAP are under the water or underground oh, you're so welcome, or underground or underwater, some might think that their construction so deep down has caused gravitational shifts, or I mean, sorry, tectonic shifts that have impacted people on the surface. And, it's not crazy to think about. It's not crazy to imagine that if you are so many miles underwater, Nicole, if you're so many miles underwater, if you're so many miles under the ground, and you're boring or you're building your base or doing things like that, if you caused a fault crack, that would reverberate and pick up momentum as it comes up through the bottom up to the surface. And absolutely, you can see how they would cause, earthquakes and things like that to happen on the surface. And also, California is a hot spot. I don't have to tell you. You are a very good member of Beyond the Radar News and submit your stories and things like that. California. California has a ton, and especially in your area, Southern California, you see things probably monthly, if not more. A fellow author suggested it, and I go, oh, well, good. Talk to them more. See if they have any other inside information. I don't have anything that I know factual firsthand, but, I can definitely see how it's a possibility. And yes, you're right. Florida does, or I'm sorry, uh, California does have some of the most sightings as a state. And you understand it's the big state, it's huge. You're going to have just more people, and I get that. Florida is not as big, but they have more. But also, Florida is surrounded by water on three sides. So, if you were to believe that these are, USOs instead of UAP, yeah, obviously they're going to come out of the water and they're going to, be seen, especially in coastal towns and things like that. And for anyone listening on the radio, I know Nicole personally, been a guest and co-hosted her podcast many times. But she lives in the more desert, mountainous regions of California. I don't want to say, so people don't think like LA or a big city. And I've seen firsthand the videos she's taken from her phone and put on the internet or sent to me. And these are things that there's no other explanation for it. So I know firsthand how California, is, and I can probably see that many of the sightings don't happen in the cities; they'll happen out in the less populated regions. So it definitely makes a ton of sense to me that could happen. I've seen it firsthand. So obviously, California being a hotspot, and California is I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if not number one, then number two with the amount of earthquakes. Around. So, if you have a hotspot and you have earthquakes, maybe there is a parallel there. There very well could be. And now I'm nervous because some may say that or some say they may be demonic nature of the UFOs. And yeah, we've talked about that. I've talked about that on this show. I've talked about that on my other show, Chasing Prophecy. There is a growing belief of the spiritual nature to these non-human biologics, these UFOs, these entities, and that makes total sense. One, it's one thing we don't understand, And with, major religious groups saying, you can believe in UFOs and religion at the same time. And with the Vatican, what is their nature to UFOs and possibly housing UFOs and alien beings. So, I'm not going to paint with a broad brush. Absolutely not. I'm not going to say that, yes, that's it and that's all that it's going to be. But it's certainly something to think about. Absolutely. So we're going to kick this show off with a little break, and then we're going to get into the grays and talk about gray culture and gray civilization and all of that. So we'll be right back, everybody.
4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of you believe demons exist. We invite you to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news show. If it's unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, we're talking about it. Exploring the unexplained, challenging the conventional, and diving deep into the shadows that lurk just beyond our perception. Come join the transmission on the United Public Radio Network. Once you come, you'll never be the same.
Read it today.
Do you want to reach millions with your product or service? Are you looking to connect with a diverse, intelligent, and engaged audience? Then look no further. Beyond the Radar radio show is your golden ticket to achieving just that. Our listeners are curious, open-minded, and always eager to learn. They value quality, authenticity, and innovation, just like your brand. With Beyond the Radar, your advertisement will be heard by millions of dedicated listeners. Our show covers a wide range of topics, attracting a diverse audience that could be your next loyal customers. So why wait? Take your brand to Beyond the Radar and into the hearts and minds of millions. Advertise with us. Let's explore the extraordinary together. Beyond the Radar radio show, where your brand meets a world of curious minds. Contact us today for advertising opportunities at www.beyondtheradarnews.com and fill out our contact form. We hope to talk to you soon.
Samantha survives a tragic accident thanks to Lucian, an enigmatic being. Her newfound abilities catch the attention of a secretive government agency. Drawn to Lucian despite the danger, Samantha is unaware of his true identity. She teams up with Lucian's brothers in a daring mission to rescue him. Accused unfairly, Lucian seeks refuge on his distant homeworld. Can Samantha prove Lucian's innocence and save their forbidden love? From the Sky by J.E. Nicasio. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon and BNN.
Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond? Have you ever felt a sense of curiosity about mysterious lights darting across the sky? If so, my UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown course is just for you. This course is a comprehensive introduction into the fascinating world of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial life. It is designed for beginners, so no prior knowledge is required. I am your instructor, Tom. I am an author, podcast host, and seasoned researcher in the field ready to debunk common myths and misconceptions. So are you ready to embark on an exciting journey to unravel the secrets of the universe? Join us at UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown, and let's explore the unknown together. Don't let this free opportunity fly away. Enroll now and start your journey into the intriguing world of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. All right, welcome back, everybody. Great to see everybody. Classes start, Nicole. Classes start whenever they're already ready to go. They're live, so please just go ahead, sign up, and you'll be in there. The free one just to see if this is what you want to take, and then there's another one that is $70, and if you complete it, you'll be a certified beyond the radar UFO investigator and have the credentials to join me and talk about UFOs and be a subject matter expert. So definitely interesting. And yes, everybody can hop on and get a hold of that opportunity. So let's talk about the Greys. Let's switch over into the Greys here. And let's go over a brief interview or overview of the gray alien, because by far, I mean, 80% of alien encounters are with people who describe the characteristics of the non-human entity as a gray alien, typically. But there's some very interesting subtleties and very different theories about this that I wanted to touch on. So this will kick off our summer segment of learning about species of aliens. This is all a part of Beyond the Radar Summer of Cool Stuff. Cool shit. There you go. So let's dive into it. So gray aliens, and you know, some really wanted to get. If you want to dive deep into it, you can call them Zeta Reticulans, but we always know them as gray aliens. They are frequent subjects of close encounters and alien abduction claims. Most famously, for anyone who knows the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case in New Hampshire, which was fantastic, wonderful story, involved hypnosis, and remember, and having to go through hypnosis to remember about the gray aliens and things like that. We cover that case in the course as well. But when you talk about gray aliens, you think of Betty and Barney Hill. You think of the 1947 Roswell UFO incident, where you have extraterrestrial beings that are humanoid. So they walk on two legs, two arms. However, their head is completely oversized, very big head, and very, very big, deep, black, piercing eyes. They're gray skin, typically diminutive. So I always want to stress that when people talk about gray aliens, when you think of a full grown one, more often than not, they're described as under 4 feet tall. They completely lack ears, noses, and sexual organs. Whether they're male or female, you would never know. You're just looking at, a unisex version of a humanoid. Their legs are always depicted as being shorter and jointed differently than human limbs. So one thing that I've noticed in different drawings and researching this is that, if you were to take our body, like our legs and quads, the kneecap is higher up on the knee than what ours would be. So the shin area, if you were to call it that, is much more elongated than typical. The reason why they are called the Zeta Reticulans or gray aliens is because of the interpretation of a celestial map drawn by Betty Hill, who had a school teacher, Marjorie Fish, draw this for her sometime in 1969. And Betty Hill, now this was under hypnosis, by the way. Under hypnosis, they were. She reported that they were from the Zeta Reticuli system and drew the star map. And then upon learning this, Fish attempted to create the model from a drawing produced by Hill, and eventually determining that the stars marked as the alien tome was Zeta Reticuli, which was a binary star system. So that really starts and gets you to the modern point, right? That really gets you to the modern point of where we get into grays and things like that. And Nicole with a question. I have a dumb question. No dumb questions ever on Beyond the Radar. Are their color gray? Wonder why they call them gray aliens. Well, yeah, they are. More often than not, people will talk about them as a very deep blue hue or gray. And, I think gray just caught on from the Betty and Barney Hill And typically, you know, once somebody names something, it's hard to change the name of that. But the hue is such a dull blue, you know, that it almost looks gray, or people mistake it for gray. And also, 90% of the time, when are they abducted? They're abducted at night. So a dark blue or a very dull blue is going to look gray. So that's how, in my interpretation, that they got that name. So let's talk about the diffusion, I guess, into the folklore. So you have the Hills encounter, and Grace would go on to become the central part of ufology concerning other extraterrestrial related folklore. This is particularly true of the case in the United States of journalist C.D.B. Bryan, who has an actual number of 73%. So 73% of all reported alien encounters describe gray aliens, which is significantly higher than any other country. So other countries do take this data, everyone. They do take the data and they write it down. And United States gray aliens are so much higher than anywhere else. We'll get into those theories a little bit later. But during the 1980s, grays were linked to an alleged crash landing of a saucer in Roswell. We all know about the Roswell stuff. You know what I mean? But a number of publications contain statements from individuals who claim to have seen the U.S. military handling a number of unusual proportioned bald child-sized beings. These individuals claim that during and after the incident, the beings had oversized head and slanted eyes, and they had scant other distinguishable facial features, which goes directly to how I was telling everybody and mentioned before about what the grays look like, what their anatomy looks like. So definitely very interesting there. In 1987, novelist Whitney Strieber published the book Communion, which, unlike the previous works, was categorized as nonfiction. And he describes a number of close encounters that he alleged to have with experiences with grays and other extraterrestrial beings. This book became a New York Times bestseller, and it became a 1989 film with Christopher Walken playing the lead role, and from New Line Cinema, also called Communion. And then you have in 1988, Christophe Decovani interviewed the French science fiction writer and ufologist Jimmy Giraud. Besides mentioning the Majestic 12, Giraud described the existence of what he called the Little Greys, which in France now becomes Les Petits Gris. Very interesting. So this is not just a phenomenon from the United States. This happens all over. In 1995, this comes a big one. We still see this around today. You have Ray Santilli, a filmmaker, who claimed to have obtained 22 reels of 16 millimeter film that depicted the autopsy of a real gray alien, supposedly recovered from the 1947 Roswell site. In 2006, Santilli announced that the film was not an original, but was instead a recreation or a reconstruction created after the original film was found to have been degraded. But he maintained the real gray footage had been found and autopsied in 1947, and that the footage released to the public contained a percentage of the original film. We all remember that, right? We all remember, and have seen that footage of the doctors in the white lab coats and the gray alien on the bed. It's very small, or the metal table. I don't even think it was a bed. It was a metal table. And they were going through an autopsy. It's lived in popular culture and lore for many, many generations. If it was recreated but had the original, it does take it down a little bit. I'll be honest with you. You want to always be looking at the original footage. You want to look at the original film. You want to look at all of that. But I get it. You know what I mean? If you couldn't do it, I would probably keep that secret as well. So when we get into the analysis of grays are often, like we said, involved in alien abduction claims. Among reports of alien encounters, grays make up about 50% of them in Australia, 73% in the United States, and about 14% in continental Europe. However, only 12% in the United Kingdom. And these reports also include distinct groups of grays that differ in height. I have heard the theory, or some individuals purport that you have the childlike grays, which are more of like the, worker bee or something like that, where they're 3 or 4 feet tall and they go out and they do the work. And then you have the 5 to 6 foot tall gray, who is more of the supervisor, manager, or whatever you want to call it. Abduction claims are often described as extremely traumatic and similar to an abduction by humans or even sexual assault in terms of the level of trauma and distress. The eyes are often a focus of the abduction claims, which often describe grays staring into the eyes of the abductee while conducting mental procedures. This staring is claimed to induce hallucinogenic stares or directly provoke different emotions. That one is news to me, guys, because I had not thought about that. That they would just stare in your eyes and then help. We only think of like hallucinations and calming and mental procedures if you're numbed or drugged up, and if they can do that without injecting you or giving you anything, it just speaks to the mental prowess that they have over us. We also have neurologist Stephen Novella that purports that grays are a byproduct of human imagination. His theory is that grays' most distinctive features represent everything that modern humans traditionally link with intelligence. The aliens, however, do not just appear as humans, they appear like humans with traits that we psychologically associate with intelligence. I understand that, and everybody's entitled to their theory. I personally do not. I personally don't believe that portion of it. I do believe grays are not a mental construct. There's just too much proof, too many people saying they claimed it. If you were to conduct tests on every single person who has saw grays leaving ships or abducting them or seeing them out in the open, and you find a link between all of them, then yeah, I will start to believe that a little more. In 2005, let's move into modern times here. In 2005, Frederick Malmstrom, writing in Skeptic magazine, presents his idea that grays are actually residual memories of early childhood development. Malmstrom reconstructs the face of a gray through transformation of a mother's face based on our best understanding of early childhood sensations and perception. Malmstrom studies offers an alternative into the existence of grays and the intense instinctive response many people associate when presented with the image of gray in the act of regression hypnosis in recovering memories of alien abduction experiences along with their common themes. That everybody's entitled. Again, that falls into the psychological principle where, you have many people who have claimed to have physical encounters, physical, injuries from them. I would need more proof with that one to go ahead with that. According to biologist Jack Cohen, the typical image of a gray, assuming that it would have evolved from a different world and a different environmental and ecological conditions from Earth, is too physiologically similar to humans to be a credible representation of an alien. So that right there are some interesting theories that many people have about the grays. So I have a few videos for everyone, and I know we like that. So I'm going to play some videos about grays and talk about what these findings are.
Who or what are the grays? The grays is a term commonly used in popular culture and ufology to refer to a specific type of alleged extraterrestrial being. The grays are typically described as humanoid beings with a distinctive grayish skin tone. They are often depicted as small in stature, around 3 to 4 feet tall, with slender bodies and large heads. Their most iconic feature is their disproportionately large, almond-shaped black eyes. They are commonly depicted as having no visible ears, nose, or mouth, and their limbs are described as long and thin. According to various accounts, the grays are believed to originate from other star systems or dimensions. Some theories propose that they come from the Zeta Reticuli star system, which is located about 39 light-years away from Earth. The Greys have become particularly associated with the phenomenon of alien abductions. Some people claim to have been abducted by these beings and subjected to medical examinations or experiments. Reports often describe a sense of paralysis and loss of control during these encounters. However, it's worth noting that the abduction phenomenon is highly controversial, and scientific evidence supporting these claims is lacking. This species is often portrayed as emotionless and highly advanced beings. They are commonly described as having telepathic abilities and advanced technology. Reports suggest that they communicate with abductees through telepathy rather than verbal speech. Their alleged activities include genetic experimentation, reproductive procedures, and an interest in human biology and genetics. The Greys have made a significant impact on popular culture, particularly in science fiction, movies, and conspiracy theories surrounding UFOs and extraterrestrial life. They have been featured in books, movies, TV shows, and artwork, often portrayed as mysterious, secretive, and enigmatic beings. The existence of the Greys, or any extraterrestrial beings, remains unproven. However, recently the US government has released evidence of UFO sightings that have been documented since 1945. You'd think this information would receive more media coverage. The accounts and descriptions of the Greys primarily come from anecdotal evidence, witness testimonies, and works of fiction. But we can all ask ourselves this question regardless. Do you believe?
Yeah, so that video right there sums it up. Gives a very good representation of Greys from the the physical point of view, and what we see. And I have to believe that if they are always found in the abduction scenario, do we believe that they are sentient, that they are actually in there? Or are they more of a drone? Are they more of a robot? Are they more of the worker bee, the worker ant? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. You can make an argument for both ways. However, me personally, I do think that they are either a race that does the bidding for other, aliens, other UFO species, or even their own species that are the more taller ones, and they just made essentially clones at a micro, at a two-thirds size, basically, that goes and does the work for them with those telepathic abilities. Um, there's certainly a wonderful way to, or it's certainly a wonderful way to think about um, that they might want to come here for our psychic abilities. Nicole, I think they're interested in our psychic abilities and maybe enhance them as well. It does seem to be that there's something that they want from us. And as the video explained, you have reproduction experiments, you have scientific experiments, you have DNA findings, you have different things that they poke, prod, and want from us. And the question is why? What could that be? What is the reason that they want to come in and do all of that to us? How can we think about that? What can we talk about? You know what I mean? Where's the evidence? Well, many of you, if you're not sure who he is, many of you know who he is. We talk about this off the air. Bashar. We're a Bashar. We're friendly on here to Bashar. I do believe in Daryl Anka, and I do believe that he is channeling something. And I've seen the scientific data, the scientific testing that when they put him under a brain nodes and things like that, when they try to get to when they have him channel and he's just not there, and the data shows that he's not there. It's just wonderful. But I'm going to play a little clip from here on how he describes the Greys, and here's another theory that I want everybody to think about.
The beings that you know as the Greys are a mutated race of humans from a parallel version of Earth. They used to look just like you. Not you specifically. Right. The idea being that they destroyed their version of Earth and had to mutate themselves to survive. They lost the ability to reproduce. Therefore, in order to perpetuate their civilization, they had to use their advanced technology to tunnel into parallel reality versions of Earth where human DNA was still viable, such as in your reality. So they could extract that DNA, create hybrid races such as ourselves, and thus perpetuate their society and their culture in that way. Recognizing that we owe you a debt for having created us from your DNA and their DNA, We share these informational things with you to help you avoid the same path because we observe that your world might be heading down a similar path that they took that destroyed their version of Earth. Short story.
Perfect.
But the idea is that at a certain point when they realized what a tremendous undertaking it would be to create the hybridization agenda in order to perpetuate their civilization, they knew that the only way they could achieve it would be by giving up any vestige of their humanity and becoming a hive mind so they could work efficiently enough so that they could actually achieve the goal. In order to then guide them, they still needed a race of beings who could oversee the project. Those are the mantids. Do you understand?
I completely do.
All right. Does that help?
That helps a lot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow. A lot to unpack there. The concept of Greys being a bastardized version of us from the future who destroyed our humanity. Oh man, that rings a little clearer to me than some of the other theories that I just read over here a few minutes ago. There's a lot of speculation about UFOs and aliens, about our military, our our nuclear testing sites, our nuclear weapons, things of that nature. Could that be what had happened? That they no longer were viable and didn't have the viable human DNA? Did they blow themselves to smithereens and saw that we were heading down that path and they chose to intervene, or do choose to intervene? Do they come here abducting people, taking people, and using their DNA? That can cause a lot of trauma. There's a lot of pain associated with that. When there's pain, there's of course there's trauma. That makes a lot of sense to me in that realm. I still stick to my theory. I do. I still stick to my theory that they are a cloning, or the workers of other ones, and that's what he essentially said when it talked about mantids. Many people, especially South America, there's a lot of stories in South America, if you wanted to check them out, of insect-like species, insect-like humanoid species that visit Earth. And many of them do talk about, like a praying mantis, just a shape of one, but humanoid as well. And, either he knew about that, he did his research about that, or, when he channels Bashar, the extraterrestrial entity, that he does have the knowledge of what all of that is. Could be, it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense. But there's a lot of time you can spend looking at Bashar and his viewpoints on different things, ever from spirituality to human, spirit, to consciousness, to, of course, this subject and many others. But when you talk about the Greys, I think we're moving to the point that they're not their own, they're not their own civilization. They are more of hired hands, workers, things like that. Many individuals believe, many individuals believe a growing theory, which is that some of these abductions are from the CIA, who are using Greys as the conduit to do experimental testing, because look, you can't do it on a human. There's too many, you're going to find out. But if they have them do it for them, for whatever reason, I think, they would make that deal for us, to be paid in blood for technology. That's another one, that these UFO or these entities such as the Greys need our human DNA. All right, you need our human DNA. We will allow you to take our human DNA, but we want technology in return. And anything that we can do to get a leg up on people of our own species, I think, the American government would do that. We know that for a fact, don't we, America? Nicole with another comment. You should get in touch with Barry Littleton. He speaks of many alien races. I'll have to get in touch with him, see if I can get him on for this Summer of Species tour. This is going to be wonderful. Let's at this time, let's check the text board. And, okay, from Paolo in Arizona. I have saw grays multiple times, and I've only felt horror and fear. I'm sorry you felt that, Paolo. That's absolutely, you're not alone, is what I'll say. You're not alone in that. And when you see grays, many people do fear the dread. Maybe people feel inside, an unspoken feeling, that you get, that I'm looking at something I don't understand. Roger in New Orleans. Oh, thank you, Roger. New Orleans, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Thank you, Roger. I can't wait to learn all of the species. Thank you, Roger. I'm glad we have a fan here. Excellent. Thank you, Roger. We're gonna do good. We're gonna have a fun summer, guys. Jen in New Orleans again, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. I think grays are the worker ants of the ETs as well. Yeah, worker ants. There you go. I think I said B, but I do believe that. I do believe it's somebody they can pedal out. I don't know if they are actually alive, to be honest with you. I do not know, or robotic, or drones, or you name it. You know what I mean? Because I haven't made up my mind on that, to be honest with you, Jen. I haven't made up my mind if they are actually a living being, or the robotic, a synth, a hybrid, whatever you want to call it, there. So excellent. And Minnie in West Virginia. I don't know if we had him in West Virginia. If you had to say, what would you believe? Oh, okay. I've said it, but I'll say it again. I do believe they are workers, and I do believe they're either a slave race or a paid, hired hand race that goes and picks up for abductions, that has the technology to cross over dimensions or, interplanetary travel. For what reason? For scientific experiments, for their own or somebody else. Not sure, but I do believe that they are that version of it as well. So yeah, that was our little segment right there on the grays. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Council of Nine. No, not the satanic cult one, but 9 gods that govern celestial bodies and here on Earth. So I can't wait to talk about it. We'll be right back.
4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of you believe demons exist. We invite you to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news show. If it's unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, we're talking about it. Exploring the unexplained, challenging the conventional, and diving deep into the shadows that lurk just beyond our perception. Come join the transmission on the United Public Radio Network. Once you come, you'll never be the same.
Read it today.
Do you want to reach millions with your product or service? Are you looking to connect with a diverse, intelligent, and engaged audience? Then look no further. Beyond the Radar radio show is your golden ticket to achieving just that. Our listeners are curious, open-minded, and always eager to learn. They value quality, authenticity, and innovation, just like your brand. With Beyond the Radar, your advertisement will be heard by millions of dedicated listeners. Our show covers a wide range of topics, attracting a diverse audience that could be your next loyal customers. So why wait? Take your brand to Beyond the Radar and into the hearts and minds of millions. Advertise with us. Let's explore the extraordinary together. Beyond the Radar radio show, where your brand meets a world of curious minds. Contact us today for advertising opportunities at www.beyondtheradarnews.com and fill out our contact form. We hope to talk to you soon.
Samantha survives a tragic accident thanks to Lucian, an enigmatic being. Her newfound abilities catch the attention of a secretive government agency. Drawn to Lucian despite the danger, Samantha is unaware of his true identity. She teams up with Lucian's brothers in a daring mission to rescue him. Accused unfairly, Lucian seeks refuge on his distant homeworld. Can Samantha prove Lucian's innocence and save their forbidden love? From the Sky by J.E. Nicasio. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon and BNN.
Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond? Have you ever felt a sense of curiosity about mysterious lights darting across the sky? If so, my UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown course is just for you. This course is a comprehensive introduction into the fascinating world of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial life. It is designed for beginners, so no prior knowledge is required. I am your instructor, Tom. I am an author, podcast host, and seasoned researcher in the field ready to debunk common myths and misconceptions. So are you ready to embark on an exciting journey to unravel the secrets of the universe? Join us at UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown, and let's explore the unknown together. Don't let this free opportunity fly away. Enroll now and start your journey into the intriguing world of UFOs and extraterrestrial life. All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for staying tuned. Let's clean this up from Nicole. They probably report back to the motherships. I agree. Why get your hands dirty? Just send them down there to do it. And, there is a mother hypothesis. However, I think it might be a little bit different. It's not that for our own mothers, I do believe that they go back to the motherships. They do the dirty work. And maybe they're more equipped, or maybe, our atmosphere tends to do better, for them. They can breathe. The gravity doesn't affect them, whatever it might be. They just, they just might be able to be on this planet and other ones haven't. So there's always that opportunity as well. I actually seen a mothership once and Barry confirmed it. And real quick, you talk about Barry Littleton, another researcher in the field, and wonderful. And yeah, motherships, I have not seen one, so I would definitely want to pick your brain about it at some point. But let's move on right here, and we'll talk about this Council of Nine. So, in Chinese communities, specifically in the Southeast Asia region, in the ninth month or ninth month in their lunar calendar, they have a festival for the 9 emperor gods, and the point of this festival is to summon the very powerful 9 emperor gods. And they believe that they are the offspring of the supreme god of creation. They come from the 9 stars of the Big Dipper, 7 that are visible, 2 that are invisible. And they're tasked with controlling the universe and keeping order here on Earth. They govern the celestial realm and the human realm, and they are believed to control human destiny. So with this festival, they want to appease the gods to make sure we can still keep living and things like that. But where it translates differently is this is not only a Southeast Asia, festival. Did you know over in, the Aztec Empire, they worshipped 9 gods called Lords of the Night. In Buddhist culture, they had 9 hidden men that were behind Buddha. And of course, in Greek mythology, many of you know that Zeus led a council of 9 gods. So, very interesting that different civilizations all over the earth at different times believed in this. So, I have another couple videos here that I'm going to show you, and we'll discuss it.
Of 9. with the government finally confirming that there is life beyond ours, which means they finally have confirmed alien life. Which makes me wonder when they will confirm about the Council of Nine. So we were told the universe was created by one celestial being, a god, but in actuality, it was created by numerous of them, 9. To be exact, the Council of Nine are fourth dimensional beings who are always watching us. Uran Geller was the psychic who first introduced the Council of Nine. He said he came in contact with one who goes by the name Tom. Tom explains, he was once called Adam Ra by the Egyptians. They were known by another name back then. Their influences were known other types of religions throughout the world. Tom also gives us a frightening warning about the apocalypse, and it's coming soon. But scientists claim this is all pseudoscience.
Happy haunting.
So yes, the Tom in that, who he claimed to have channeled, was not me, first of all, and secondly, when he went by the name of Atum Ra, that was the name of the supreme creator in Egyptian culture, or the sun god. Some also might know as Osiris or things like that, but ancient Egypt also had a council of 9 with Atum Ra being the head of all of that. Um, so again, this psychic either really did his research, or there's a lot more to be said about that Council of 9. Um, and yeah, Nicole, I do have a common name, Tom. One of the biblical name, I guess. So I am stuck with that. But a little play for Tom's that that the ancient Egyptian god wanted to call himself Tom. That's very interesting to me. But why I wanted to tell everybody about that was, does anybody check out in Japan, with all of this Asia stuff going on, anybody check out in Japan and see the 9 pillars of light that came down? Very interesting, real weird. So I'm going to play that video as well.
Of this, 9 pillars of light pierced the night sky above a quiet coastal town in Japan. An ethereal spectacle, almost as if the universe itself decided to put on a light show. But what could be behind this celestial phenomenon? Some might say it's a natural marvel, perhaps a rare atmospheric condition where light from nearby cities reflects off particles in the air. Others might whisper of legends, ancient stories woven into the fabric of local culture, suggesting a supernatural origin. Or could this be something more modern, a clever, unseen art installation, using technology to blend the boundaries between sky and sea, reality and fantasy? Whatever the source, these 9 beams of light invite curiosity and wonder, sparking imaginations and conversations.
So yeah, everyone, that was that. And did you see, they made a little production video, but they had a couple of the real shots in there. And when they talk about pillars, these are pillars. They were almost angelic. They were, light that was shining up, and very luminescent, very bright as well. And it was very interesting to see all of that. You know, if you were to believe that it's that this festival is to appease the gods in Chinese culture, especially Southeast Asia, and Japan's not very far off of that. It makes sense to think that maybe they are displeased with how we're treating one another. You know what I mean? We always could be better to one another. But for them to make themselves known, make themselves seen, definitely interesting. And I think, we had a couple texts come in about that. Ben in Mississippi. Ben, thank you for checking us out on 105.3 FM in Mississippi on the Gulf Coast. I didn't know 9 was a significant number in mythology. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Here I'm a show host, but I'll admit I did not know all of the different principles of 9 that you have in different mythologies all over the country, all over the world. From Aztec, 2 bodies of water separate that culture from everywhere else. They had 9. Egypt had 9. That's the Middle East, Far East, with the Orient and Southeast Asia. They had a council of 9 with their deities. Even here, the Supreme Court has 9 members of it. So 9 in a governing sense seems to be the number that we're pulling things from. Very interesting, very odd. I can't really make out more than that, but the Council of 9, you believe that these are 9 different gods representing different species, representing different governing bodies of the realm. I believe that these civilizations did believe that. I believe they believed is the best way to put it. They wanted to go and base their cultures off of this 9. But what's interesting to me and what I can't get over, and the fact that I can't get over, is that multiple civilizations have thought this. Multiple civilizations have thought this from across the country across the world without any way of getting to each other. How do you explain somebody over in the Aztec culture knowing about Egyptian, also knowing about, the Oriental culture, also knowing about Mediterranean culture with the Greek? Stuff to think about. The world is small now because we have the internet. The world is small now because we have cell phones. The world is small now because we have organizations, mail carriers, infrastructure to take things next day to someplace wherever, all over the world or all over the country. What's your excuse when you don't have that? What is your excuse when people can't even sail across the sea? People can't even walk. You're in a desolate environment where horses die, and if you ride them too long, I don't know. There has to be more than what is seen. There has to be more than what is told. And unfortunately, we destroyed a number of those stories when we pillage and when we exterminate and when we do all kinds of awful things to each other. Very interesting, very thought-provoking. And next week, we'll go into another alien species. We'll go into another topic, and we'll talk about what they have. But for today, the Greys, I'm going to certify that they are a worker species. They do the dirty work, but they can survive here on Earth. And they, and you're right, Nicole. The Council of 9 does make sure we don't blow each other up. That's absolutely true. And we need help because you never know. You never know whose finger's on the button. So, thank you, everybody, for listening. We've been broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And we've also been airing live on Roku TV. You can catch the archive there or subscribe to Beyond the Radars podcast on Spotify for past shows. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for helping make Healer a success. Please, and another shout out for Healer. Please, everyone, go buy Healer, the Conflict of a Gift. Thank you so much for everybody. Take care, and I will see you Tuesday on Chasing Prophecy. Have a great night, everybody.
Four in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of you believe demons exist. We invite you to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news show. If it's unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, we're talking about it. Exploring the unexplained, challenging the conventional, and diving deep into the shadows that lurk just beyond our perception. Come join the transmission on the United Public Radio Network. Once you come, you'll never be the same.